Guess what I did the first of the year? I got the old sheet out. Okay. Let me get to page 425 and now I'm on the same page as everybody else. Yeah, that's the first mistake I made. It's not in the all right, 425, please. It keeps me singing. It's been years since you saw them. I know there's people you haven't seen since last year. So put a smile on your face, get acquainted with them, okay? Always sing great words. All my life was dragged by a sin and so get my heart with pain. Just like a cross of broken strength, there's a something voice January day that is very warm. Beautiful weather, God's goodness. We're still shaking hands, that's all right. It's okay. Brother Terry, as you're walking this way, we're going to come on down, okay? Price is right, that's right. Jesus is free. Praise the Lord. Just come right in. Go ahead and take us a word for the prayer.
Dear Heavenly Father, we do want to thank you and praise you for this day you've given us and the opportunity we have to be in your house today, Father. Sing praises to you, lift your name up, just to hear back from you today, Father, in your word. I pray you good Brother Douglas and brings that word to you. All open our minds and hearts and be receptive to it. Father, we want to thank you that trying to make waver back and forth, but Father, for your unchanging love and faithfulness to us, Father. Forgive us when we fed you. Be with this congregation, be with your church, not only this church, but every church. Just lead, God, and direct us, Father, and bring us back closer to you in Christian love. We never serve you, but glory to your name. In Christ's name we ask. Amen.
January is a very important month, right? be recognized. There's been a tradition. You put a penny in per year. Ladies put a dollar in so they won't know how old you are. If you don't have anything, just come up and let us sing happy birthday to you. So as we sing happy birthday, you get to come up like I'm going to have to because my birthday's in January too, all right? Celebrate.
It is going to be a lot of fun. I did say the right time, didn't I? We're going to have a lot of fun, guys. There's going to be prizes for first, second, and third. You're going to love the prizes. She has some awesome ideas that you will like to have. So please, I would encourage you to come out. Even if you don't don't want to bring any chili, come on, bring it out. If you just want to bring a dessert or whatever it might be, bring them on. Come on out. Let's have a good time together on Saturday night. And again, it's going to start at 5, but you know what? Whenever we leave, okay? I'm just going to tell you right now, there's no time set on that. But I want to encourage you to be part of that. Please remember that we will be having a deacons meeting this evening with our deacons at 5, and then and Wednesday evening we'll be having our January business meeting 2020. Wow, what a mouthful! 2020. We'll be having that coming up. We also will be having Forest Creek Commons on the 12th as well, so that's in a week. We'll be taking it through the next Sunday is almost halfway through January. Whew. All right, so we'll be having that next week as well at 2:30. Remember the chili cook-off? You know what? Even if you don't sign up, that's okay. It just helps to know how to set some things up. But I encourage you to come out for the chili cook-off, guys. Let's just have some fun together, fellowshipping. And I guarantee that Miss Drew, if I can just figure out where she put all the information, we'll be just fine. Okay? She explained it to me, and I said, So I know where it is, I really do. But again, I want to say welcome this morning, and I'm going to give this back up. Actually, before I take a moment, before I do so, I want to take a moment in prayer. Brother Rick just reminded me of a couple of things. I don't know if you guys know or not, the United Methodist Church is in the process of potentially dividing the lesbian, the LGBT, whatever acronym they're using, and literally dividing the church. They're actually going to vote to split their church, if I'm not mistaken. If they may have already, I don't know. And also to remember the military is, as most of you probably know, what's taking place around the world. That they are getting ready. I believe they have already. Will be in the process of sending 3,000 Army 82nd Airborne to the Middle East. So take the opportunity to remember those two things and just to do so. Let's take a moment. Let's pray. Father God, I do thank you for today. Lord, I thank you for your love. I thank you for your life. I thank you for all that you do for us. Lord, I want to pray for what's taking place in the Methodist Church. Lord, it is so wrong that we would take your word and pervert it and change it. And I ask, Father God, that you will help people to see that. Lord, I just ask, Father God, that you will just open up people's hearts to that, to the truth of who you are, what your word is. And Lord, that you will prevail through that and somehow people see you. Lord, not in the way man portrays you, but who you are. And Lord, the same for our military, Lord, as I know that, Lord, as a father of one in the military, Father God, I ask that you'll watch over those troops that are going overseas. Lord, that you'll watch over all those families. Watch over my son and others with him, Lord, as they do various things they're doing. Lord God, I ask that you will just help us all as your people to trust you and honor you. And I thank you, Lord, ahead of time for what you will do through us if we just let you ask in your name. Amen.
All turn to page 139, please. At the cross, 139. Grief can him this morning. The reason Jesus went on that cross was because he loves you and me. Page 146.
Bow with me, please. Father, we do thank you for this day that you have made for us. God, for the privilege we have to come to your house and sing praises your name and hear your word preached and just worship you in spirit and in truth. Lord, we thank you for each one that come this way this morning, Lord. Hadn't been here for a while. God, there's some still not here on the road or in the nursing home or where they may be, Lord, traveling. We pray for them as well. Lord, we just want to lift them up before you this morning. This offering we're about to receive, Lord, I pray that you'll take it and use it for the outreach of the ministry, for the brothers of the kingdom, and the ones that we pray that you'll bless them too. Just lead us, direct us, and guide us. Help us to center our hearts and our minds on the cross today and receive the things you have for each one of us. We'll not fail to give you praise, honor, and glory for it all. We pray these things in Jesus' name for his sake. Amen.
We've got to do the ladies, all of you ladies might do very well. Rachel's going to come and play for us this morning, and Mom Jennifer's going to come next.
Thank
of you have ever lost anything before? Some of you haven't. Okay, I'm just asking, I want to make sure. Because, it's interesting that we have, if you go around town and you look at enough places, you find signs up about missing things, don't you? It was interesting this past week. I was out with my dad hunting, and I get a phone call. I found your dad's glove. It turned out it was mine. It was missing the whole time. I thought I had one, but I didn't know where the other one was. But I want us to remember this morning. I want to talk about missing things. Okay, I want to talk about missing things both in a spiritual way and in a physical way. And it's interesting that when you read your Bible, there is only 2 times in the Bible that the word missing actually appears. Just 2 times, right? And so it's interesting how that works. In fact, I'd like for us to take a look at a couple of those passages, okay? It's found, they're both found, more ironically, in the Old Testament, which is really, really interesting because you would think that there would be more places that this word was used and found. But let's see what this word is all about in 1 Samuel chapter 25, verse 7. Let's see what it says to us so that you can and I can hopefully, between us, kind of get a bit of a grasp of what it is all about. So again, it's in 1 Samuel chapter 25, verse 7. And listen to what Samuel writes about this word, missing. He says, "Now I have heard that you have shearers. Your shepherds were with us, and we did not hurt them, nor was there anything missing from them all the while they were in Carmel." So when you read that passage there and you look at the word missing, what you can infer by this word is to understand that we didn't steal anything from them. That they were here, that they were doing this work, and they were not treated badly, they were not treated harshly, that everything was left just as it was supposed to be. Now let's go on, if you would please, to 1 Kings, if you would, chapter 20. 1 Kings chapter 20, verse 39. And let's see what this has to say to us as well about this whole idea of missing. Again, 1 Kings chapter 20, verse 39 says this: "Now as the king passed by, he cried out to the king and said, 'Your servant went out into the midst of the battle, and there a man came over and brought a man to me and said, Guard this man, if by any means he is missing. Your life shall be for his life, or else you shall pay a talent of silver.'" So now in this particular case, the word here is missing is you better hold on to him. Don't let anything happen to him. Hold on strongly to him so that we know where he is and what he's all about. So, and he says, oh, and by the way, if for some reason you do lose this guy, for some reason he's died, you're in trouble. Okay, so there's the 2 uses of that word in the Old Testament. Now, I want us to see and understand here that I want us to now speed it up a little bit and take this word and let's talk about it in the year 2020. How you or how I look at this word as missing and how we understand what it's truly all about. So again, we can see this. So, first of all, if you were to say to someone, "Man, I'm missing my keys." How many of you guys ever do that? Okay, I'm going to ask you a quick question about that. You ever actually lose them? Okay, I just want to make sure, because I want to make sure, because my head keys I sometimes have this problem of going missing, and I'm not quite sure what happens to them all the time. And I'm always told that I put them somewhere where I'm not supposed to, but I just don't think that's true. I just think that they've gone missing somewhere. Okay, so missing is important to understand when we miss something. So in other words, what missing can also mean here is the whole idea that it never was there, right? That the item was supposed to be there, but it's not there. Okay? So this idea that missing is there, I want us to understand, and I'll get to my point here in just a little bit, that we can look at this word differently as we define it. You can think something's missing, and I might think that it is not. Now, if you were to go outside this morning, if you went outside this morning, and all of a sudden you were there, and you're like, "Where's my car?" Some of you might go, "Yay, somebody finally took the thing," right? Okay? You might go outside and go, "What happened to my car?" It's missing, right? It's missing. Okay? And those things happen, and so forth and so on. Okay, how many of you have ever really thought about this before, that sometimes when things are missing, a reward is given out for it. You ever see that? I think some of the saddest pictures hanging on telephone poles is when there's a picture of a little kid with their dog and says, "Doggy's missing," right? Because they want a reward. They're hoping that reward is what? An incentive that if somebody found it, they would give it back to them. It's sad when you have a picture of someone who's missing and you go to the post office. It's super sad to see that people are missing. And it's sad, really one of the saddest things about the whole idea of missing is that sometimes people don't even care. Sometimes people don't even know that someone is missing. And guys, I want you to know something. In our churches, there's a lot of people missing. Okay? There's a lot of people missing. And I want us to understand and go to this idea and understand this. Ladies, how many of you cook? Come on, how many men, how many of you cook? Come on, raise your hand, it's okay. How many of you always season this salt, everything perfect? No. Okay. All right, how many of you ever take your whatever it is that you want to cook and you taste it and you go, ugh. Not because it's bad, because it needs new salt, or it needs more salt, or it needs more pepper, or whatever it might be. There's times in which I put salt in everything when I'm cooking. I like to make mashed potatoes. You guys like mashed potatoes? They're good for you, by the way. I don't care what anybody says. And you put them in there, and you make them up, and then you go to taste it, and you're like, wait a minute, there's not enough salt in there. Or I think there's enough salt in there. All my kids go, there's not enough salt in there. You ever been there? Okay. So I want us to understand if something's missing, we generally are going to notice it. We're generally going to notice that we're missing. That it's missing. And I want to encourage every one of us, let us remember something. We have to understand that things should not be missing. We should not assume missing things take place. According to the National Center for Missing Children and Exploited Children, roughly 800,000 children are reported missing every single year in the United States. First, when I saw the number, I thought, there's no way. There's no way. You know what? I went to their website, sure enough. I looked it up, and sure enough. So let's break that down for a moment. That's roughly 2,000 children a day go missing. That's a lot. Now, let's be honest, the statistics also break down that some of those people, those kids just run away. It's not necessarily anything bad has happened to them, that's why they're missing, but some of them just run away from home. Some of the kids are taken by family members, taken by strangers. Some of them leave, they just don't tell their parents where they went. It's not that they can't find them, it's just that they were missing for that short period of time. You see, we have, as Americans, as one of the things that we need to remember here is that something that has gone missing, we need to spend more time looking to find. And this morning, I want to share with you about a very famous missing person. In fact, the Savior of the world was missing at one time. Did you guys know that? All right, let's take our Bibles. Let's turn, if you would please, to Luke chapter 2. I want you to see here about Jesus Christ and what happened to him in Luke chapter 2, starting in verse 41. I want you to see what happened to him and his family. And I want you to see what took place with him and what his parents do to find him. Okay? Again, Luke chapter 2, starting there in verse 41. It says this, "And his parents went to Jerusalem every year at the feast of the Passover. And when he was 12 years old, they went up to Jerusalem according to the custom of the feast. When they had finished the days as they returned, the boy Jesus lingered behind in Jerusalem, and Joseph and his mother did not know it. But supposing him to have been in the company, they went a day's journey and saw him among their relatives and acquaintances. So when they did not find him, they returned to Jerusalem, seeking him. Now, so it was that after 3 days they found him in the temple, sitting in the midst of the teachers, both listening to them and asking them questions. And all who heard him were astonished at his understanding and answers. So when they saw him, they were amazed. And his mother said to him, "Son, why have you done this to us? Look, your father and I have sought you anxiously." And he said to them, "Why do you seek me? Did you not know that I must be about my Father's business?" But they did not understand the statement which he had spoken to to them. How many of you have ever been lost before? Right? It's a terrible feeling, isn't it? It really is. It's a terrible feeling. There's been more than once or twice in my life I have physically been lost. And I can remember the very first time that I was lost. I was sitting at the top of an escalator in a Sears and Roebuck store. And it wasn't my fault. You know those TVs they put up there? You know, you have the TVs? Yeah, the God's game on it. It wasn't my fault that I stopped and watched it. And guess what? My parents didn't know that I was sitting there watching the game, and guess where they went? Not where I was. And I was watching this game, and then all of a sudden, like, oh my gosh, where'd everybody go? And probably it seemed like an eternity. Up comes my mom and my dad up the escalator. And I got in trouble. And I want you to know, being lost can be a very scary thing. So here's Jesus as he is a young man. In fact, the Bible tells us here that Jesus Christ would have been 12 years old. And here he is, that he has gone with his parents to the feast. And the Bible tells us here every year at the feast that they would go. And he was 12 and he went with them. And they went to the Passover just as they always had done. Now, if you notice here that one of the things that's way different than what we do today is that when Jesus and the family and others were traveling to Jerusalem, they did so in caravans. They did so in large groups of people. And they did this for several different reasons, but one of those reasons was for protection. It was way less of an opportunity for thieves to come in and to hurt or to steal or whatever else they might want to do. And they did this together. And it was not uncommon that we would leave together and that maybe we thought someone who was with us was with somebody else in the same caravan. You know, when you first read this story, you're thinking, man, what kind of a parent would leave the Savior of the world behind? And I mean, that's exactly what happened here, didn't it? By the way, though, since God does nothing by accident, it wasn't an accident that this happened, because why not? Because his parents saw a few things. And by the way, did you catch how long Jesus Christ was missing? 4 days. They went a day's journey and searched for him for 3 days. 4 days, the Savior of the world was missing. And his parents did something, though, that every parent would do. It says there that as soon as they noticed he was gone, because they were going to have dinner that night and set up for the night or whatever it is they were doing, and they noticed that he was gone. Now they assumed that he was with others in the caravan. And the moment that they realized he was not there, they did what every parent would do, and they go back to look for their son. I want us to understand as Christians, I want us to understand as God's church, let us never be a day's journey apart from Jesus Christ. You know, the church today is getting itself further and further away from God because we are doing just that. Trying to stretch out on our own, trying to figure it out for ourselves, and we cannot do so. So if you notice here that where do they find Jesus? I find it very interesting. They find him in church. Of course, the Bible calls it the temple because that's what it was. But they find him in the temple. And if you notice, what was he doing in the temple? I guess before we look at that, how many of you don't have to raise your hand, but how many of you love it when a 12-year-old corrects you? Of course, unless you're like 8 years old and you probably don't think anything about it. But think about this for a moment. Here's Jesus Christ. Remember, the first verse of this chapter said he's 12 years old. And at this point, to our knowledge, biblically, the only person we know who was told who Jesus Christ is was his mother. Right? The Bible tells us that she was told that he is going to save his people. So here he is. He is in the temple with the experts, with those who are supposed to know all the answers to questions. I want to point something out. Don't ever assume people always know the answers to every one of our questions, because it's impossible for that to happen. But here we see Jesus Christ. And I find it interesting that here they are. They spent 3 days. If you notice here, it says that they spent 3 days looking for Jesus. I find it interesting that the Bible here uses a word in verse 43. And it says in here that he just lingered. He wasn't really worried about, this caravan moving on, his family moving on, and others moving on. He just lingered. I like to use the word wandering. Okay? They would just linger around the city. And he went, and remarkably, what's very interesting here, you can mark this down if you would like to. Every time Jesus went to a town, does anybody know was one of the very first places he sought out? The temple. Okay? Here he is, 12 years old, and where did he go? The temple. He went to the temple, and he went there, and here he is, and he is going about, and he is asking questions. If you notice here, it tells us that after 3 days they found him, and they found him in the midst of the teachers. They found him speaking to them, they found him listening to them, they found him asking questions. And it's very interesting that he says to us here that Jesus is 12 years old. It says to us here that those in the church were astonished at him. Astonished at his questions, astonished at his answers probably to questions. They may have had all of these things. They were right there. They were astonished at that. Well, they didn't have an understanding of who he was, did they? You know, but who is he? Listen, Jesus Christ did not become the Savior of the world at 30 years old. Jesus Christ was the Savior of the world and still is the Savior of the world the moment he was born. But God's plan was for him to walk on this earth for about 33 and a half years before he died on the cross and rose again. So here he is at 12 years old, fully human, fully Jesus Christ, fully divine. But what's something he was doing, guys, that we need to learn from him? He was learning. He was learning. You know, he was willing to learn. He was willing to listen. He was willing to do all of these things. And I want you to know something. He was missing as far as his parents was concerned, but Jesus knew exactly where he was. And we see this, and if you notice here the conversation that his parents had with him, and his parents said to him, "What are you doing? Didn't you know you worry us?" Every time I read especially in the New Testament, the Gospels, some of the answers Jesus gives are quite interesting. You ever notice that? You know, Jesus on one occasion said, "Woman, what do you think I'm doing?" And here in this particular case, he looks at his parents and says, "What do you think I'm doing?" "I'm in the temple." He says, "What did he?" He says right there in verse 49, he says, "Why do you seek me? Do you not know what I must be doing? Do you not know that I must be about my Father's business?" A 12-year-old. A 12-year-old who went missing for 4 days. It tells me went a day's journey, went back and sought him out for 3 more days, went there, and here he was in the church, in the temple, learning. Friends, I want to encourage all of us. Let us not be missing. God wants us to learn. God wants us to learn more about him. God wants us to learn more about one another. God wants us to learn more about serving him, how to serve him, where to serve him, all of those things. No matter how many people are in church, God has a plan for every single one of us. God has a plan for that. God wants you to serve. I don't know how he wants you to serve him. But guys, don't stay missing. Don't stay missing. Listen, God knows where you're at too. God knows where I'm at. God knows where his church is at. He knows. We are never missing from God. I want us to think about what happens in the world around us when we take out God. Okay? I want you to think about what happens for a moment. And I'm going to tie this in here in just a moment. I want you to see this and understand this. First and foremost, guys, in a world that's missing God, there's a lot of bad things that can happen, isn't there? There's a lot. I mean, I want to share some things with you that we have to understand as a country, as a world, that one of the things that happens in our world today is that when we miss God, we lose our morals. Okay? I think it's very interesting how our society keeps trying to figure it out. How churches are starting to trying to figure out what's going on, what's wrong. Because God is missing. He's missing. He isn't missing that we can't find him. We're just not looking for him. He's already right there. But you see, we need to remember that the church, it is our job to have a moral compass in it. It is our job to make sure people know that we love God. It is our job to make sure that no matter what, we're going to stand up and do what God wants us to be doing. And that moral compass that is out there, guys, it's very disturbing for me to hear people claim to be Christians and their lifestyle is just the opposite. But yet that's what you hear over and over again. And then we try to justify it, to justify the way we live. And let us never do that. Our society needs a moral compass. Please understand something. You can't have moral standards without a standard bearer to look up to. You can't have it. Jesus Christ is the moral standard bearer we must have in our churches, must have in our lives, and must have in our culture. We'll never have a moral compass without it. And we need to remember this. When I look around, something else maybe you've never really thought about before. What happens when God becomes missing in our culture, and that we have no respect for one another? And not just that, I'll take it a step further, that there's no respect for one another, or there is also no respect for life. I find it interesting how America is so caught up in impeachment. I find it very interesting that we're all upset because of money, but could care less if we kill thousands and thousands of babies on a daily basis. We don't care. How do I know that? These guys that take your tax dollars and my tax dollars and give it to Planned Parenthood. They don't care. But guys, guess what? That's what happens when morals are taken away. Let's get back to those morals. Let's get back to those morals. Let us have respect for life. Let us have respect for one another. Jesus' parents were back because they loved him, because they had respect for him. They were raising him. Let us make sure that we as Christians, that we would go and do exactly what it is that God wants us to do. Something else maybe you've never thought about before, but when Jesus goes missing in our culture, that would also have something that I find very interesting take place, and that's common sense goes out the door. Okay? How many of you remember the poor lady who spilled the hot coffee on herself at McDonald's? How many of you drink coffee? Let me see your hands. How many of you drink hot coffee? How many of you guys know that it's hot? Just asking. Okay. All right. So I don't think I really need to say any more about common sense, do I? Okay. You see, the fact of the matter is, common sense is gone when we take God out of the picture. You see, the saddest part to me is McDonald's had to pay this lady for spilling coffee on herself. You see, common sense, guys, we must be able to use it. Common sense is something that is very difficult to teach, but we do so by the way we live our life. Okay, common sense is something that we have to have so that our culture can really become and do what it needs to be doing. And something else that's very interesting here, when we take God out of the picture, and what I'm going to share with you this next time is that if you haven't seen this the last several months in our country, then I hope that you pay closer attention. But that when we have no common moral judgment, no moral compass, God missing in our world, something else that takes place is that there will be missing of civility. Civility in our country and fairness in our country will go away. In your life, in my life, in the life of our churches. It'll go away. You see, do you guys not see why our country's in trouble? You see, God is missing, and we need to quit playing games and saying that he isn't. But he is. But guys, it starts with you, it starts with me, it starts with our churches. You can't ask the world who doesn't know God to have these characteristics. They don't know how. But you and I as Christians, we can because of who God is. When God goes missing in our culture, the truth goes out the door. Right? What else goes out the door? Justice goes out the door. Guys, you realize in America today it's supposed to be innocent until what? But why do I hear so many times anymore? Prove that you're innocent. Guys, that's not how it works. But you want to know something? When you take God out of the picture, that's what you're left with. That's what we're left with. Please, take God. Don't let him be missing in your life. Don't let him be missing in the life of his church. Because when we do so, we create major problems that we can only fix by having God there. So I want to share just 4 more things with you. And it's very simply this. What do we need to do? What is the solution? Well, obviously it's God. Right? Obviously, it is God, the solution that will work, the remedy, and is there. I guarantee this, when you go to the doctor, you don't go there hoping only half helps you. Right? You don't go and say, yeah, my cough is only 1/3 as bad as it used to be. You want what? You want it gone. You want to feel better. And you see, we need to understand that God can take, when we obey God as church, as Christians, when we do so, God will remedy many of the ills in your life, in the life of our churches, and in the life of our culture. All right? When you follow Israel, do this sometimes, if you would, please. Go read the Old Testament. I want you to read it sometimes. And in fact, really focus on the history books. Okay? And focus on what Isaiah, even the prophets here, Isaiah had to say, what Malachi had to say, what others of these guys had to say. And also read in there about the kings. Because you see, the first king of Israel was Saul. And we know that throughout history, when you read the success of the kings, or you read the failures of the kings, they're always based upon whether or not God is relevant in their life. When Israel succeeded, guess where God was at? Right where you're supposed to be. When Israel struggled and was destroyed, where was God? They threw him out. You see, God doesn't change. God doesn't change in your life. God doesn't change in my life. God doesn't change around us. We choose whether or not we're going to follow him or trust him or cause him to be missing in our lives, in our culture today. People want to say, well, we can't do anything, we can't say anything about God. Well, guess what? People need to get over that. Okay? Because the reality is that there's only one Savior, and there's only one way to heaven, and his name is Jesus Christ. And we have to understand that. We need to remember that. But church, myself, all of us, we need to obey what God wants us to do. And I want you to know something. When you and I sin, it affects every aspect of our lives. Every aspect of our lives. So let us make sure that we are following after God. And the next thing that I want to share with you is this. Is that if we as God's people, as the church, we need to get on board to what God wants us to be doing. It's sad when I saw the news yesterday, and they had the picture of the Methodist church and the big gay flag right there, the Methodist church in the background, and the gay flag right here in the front. And they're actually fighting over something God calls despicable. It's sad. It's sad. Because this is not about judging people. This is what God says wrong. And it's sad because how can we expect to be blessed by God if that's how we want to live? We can't. Because God does not work that way. I want to encourage you. Let us get on board to what God wants us to do. Who God is. What God wants us to be doing. Where God wants us to be doing those things so that we can understand that. And the next thing I want to share with you is this. You know what? And we may have all fallen guilty of this. I don't know. But I know for a fact that none of us like to be, that I don't like to be rejected. Do you like to be rejected? No. Not really. But you see, one of the things that we need to work past is not worrying about rejection. Okay? Not worrying about rejection. And we need to remember that, to give our very best. Ask yourself, why is it that we do certain things in the church? Are we doing it to bring praise and honor and glory to God? If we do those things, it's really not hard. Did you know that? When I read my Bible, Israel was blessed beyond measure when they trusted and followed God. And you know what? I believe that God doesn't change. You believe God doesn't change? He doesn't change. He does not change, and that since he does not change, guess what he will do to you? Guess what he will do to me? Guess what he will do to all our culture around us? The exact same thing. Why? Because that's how God works. And I want to encourage you, let's not have God, let's not have Jesus Christ missing in our lives. Because bad things happen when that takes place. Let us make sure that we trust God. Will you trust God this morning? Are you missing him right now in your life? The place to start is not to worry about what other people you think somebody else might be missing God in their life, but are you missing God in your life? Are you missing him? Don't go another day. Say, you know what, God? I don't want to be missing you anymore. I want to trust you. Can you do that this morning? You say, God, I need to trust you. I want to have you in my life. Because I need you desperately. Brother Donnie, would you come? Will you trust him right now? Jesus Christ, his parents went because he was missing and they found him. The key is, they found him. If you and I go and we search, we will find Jesus. Will you look for him this morning?
You stand with us, please, as we sing Just As I Am, 307.
Will you trust him right now? Will you trust him? Don't let him be missing in your life. Listen, not let him missing in his church. Will you come to him? Right here, singing. Or if you need to come in for whatever it is, please come to him right now. Don't let him go missing in your life. Let him, will you come to him? Will you come to him right now? We have one that's praying. We're going to let him pray. Will you come to him? If everybody please be seated just for a moment, please. I have to share something with you that I don't want to have to, but I have to. I have to, I've been informed this past week or so of a criminal investigation going on of a former pastor. He has been charged, or excuse me, he is being accused of sexual, physical, and emotional abuse against his children. And I spoke with one of the representatives this past week. They asked me to share with you this information for one reason. That if you happen to know when James Williams was here at our church, if you happen to know anything at all that maybe you saw, anything at all, call it Indianapolis Metropolitan